I'm Sarah. Welcome back to the series. In this chapter, Manhattan finally meets its match. The 1970s and 1980s were not just about disco beats, big hair, and Wall Street greed. They were the years Donald Trump exploded onto the scene and turned a family name from Queens into a global symbol of excess and ambition. The year is 1971. New York City teeters on the edge of bankruptcy. Crime infests the streets. Subways rattle with graffiti. Times Square flickers with porn theaters and despair. Yet in the middle of this chaos, a 25-year-old in a sharp suit steps off the bridge from Queens. Donald Trump arrives in Manhattan with one clear mission: he will conquer it. He starts quietly, works from a small office in the family company, studies crumbling properties the way cadets once studied maps. His eyes lock on one in particular: the Commodore Hotel. A once grand landmark next to Grand Central Terminal. Now it bleeds money. Boarded windows, peeling paint. Banks want nothing to do with it. The city owns the taxes. Penn Central Railroad owns the ruin. Everyone else has walked away. Donald sees gold beneath the grime. Perfect location. 42nd Street. Millions pass daily. He sketches plans in his head. Tear down the facade. Wrap the building in glass. Partner with Hyatt. Turn decay into luxury. But the price tag terrifies. Hundreds of millions. No bank will touch a rookie from the outer boroughs. He attacks the problem like everything else, relentlessly. Meets city officials, charms Hyatt executives, negotiates tax abatements that last 40 years. The deal is unprecedented. New York, desperate for any win, agrees. Donald secures financing. Construction begins in 1978. Crews strip the old brick, raise shimmering glass in its place. The transformation stuns the city. By 1980, the Grand Hyatt opens. Marble floors gleam. Atrium soars. Chandeliers sparkle. Critics call it gaudy. Guests call it glamorous. Rooms book solid. Profits flow. Overnight, the Trump name moves from apartment rentals to headline luxury. Donald stands in the lobby on opening night. Watches the crowd, smiles. The gamble paid. Word spreads fast. This young developer delivers. Banks take notice. Reporters follow. Donald feeds the attention. He grants interviews. Poses in hard hats, always with the skyline behind him. He learns early that perception builds faster than concrete. Image is equity. Fifth Avenue calls next. Prime real estate. Tiffany's on one corner. Bergdorf Goodman across the street. Bonwit Teller occupies the block Donald covets. Elegant but aging. He buys the air rights from neighbors, secures the site. The demolition starts in 1980. Controversy erupts immediately. Art Deco sculptures adorn the facade. Preservationists demand they be saved. Donald promises, then orders them jackhammered at night. Fines follow. Headlines scream. He shrugs. Schedule matters more than stone. Trump Tower rises in their place. 68 stories of bronze glass. Sawtooth design catches light like a jewel. Inside, pink marble cascades down a 5-story atrium. Waterfall murmurs. Gold accents everywhere. The Penthouse triplex waits for its owner. 3 levels, marble columns. 24-karat fixtures. Views that stretch forever. Opening day arrives in 1983. Crowds line the sidewalk. Celebrities glide through revolving doors. Andy Warhol visits. Steven Spielberg shops. The public lines up just to ride the escalators and gawk. Trump Tower becomes theater, a stage where wealth performs for the masses. Donald moves into the penthouse, looks down on Central Park. The boy who once collected bottles now lives above the city. Retail spaces lease at record rents. Condominiums sell before completion. The building prints money. More important, it prints myth. Trump equals luxury. Trump equals success. The name goes on everything. Doors, mats, towels. The brand is born. Casinos beckon next. Atlantic City booms in the late 70s. Boardwalk lights flash. Trump wants in. He buys property. Opens Harrah's at Trump Plaza in 1984. Then Trump's castle. Then the Taj Mahal. The tallest. The gaudiest. Crystal chandeliers the size of cars. Minarets pierce the sky. He promises the eighth wonder of the world. The Taj opens in 1990. Elephants parade outside. Michael Jackson attends. Inside, slot machines chime non-stop. Trump stands on a balcony, surveys his kingdom. 3 casinos, thousands of rooms, his name glows in red across the shoreline. Atlantic City feels like his town. Back in New York, opportunity knocks again. Central Park's Woolman Rink has been closed for 6 years. City contractors fail. Costs balloon. Ice stays melted. New Yorkers grumble. Donald sees the opening, offers to finish the job, at his expense. If it works, he gets concessions. The mayor agrees. Crews swarm the park in 1986. Trump oversees every detail. New pipes, new refrigeration, new concrete. They pour ice in November. Skaters glide by Christmas. The city spent 7 years and $12 million failing. Trump finishes in 4 months for under $3 million. Newspapers praise. Television cameras roll. He skates with celebrities. The public cheers. Government looks slow. Trump looks unstoppable. Through it all, he courts the press. Daily calls to reporters. Tips. Quotes. Photo ops. He understands the new rules. In the 80s, fame compounds faster than interest. Visibility is power. He appears on talk shows, buys full-page ads, always larger than life. The momentum builds toward one defining moment. A book. Not just any book, a manifesto. In 1987, The Art of the Deal hits shelves. Co-written with Tony Schwartz. Part autobiography, part business gospel, it rockets to #1. Stays there for months. Millions buy copies. Readers devour stories of leverage and bravado. Donald coins a phrase inside those pages. He calls it truthful hyperbole, an innocent form of exaggeration, essential to promotion. The line reveals everything. Deals require theater. Confidence sells. Reality bends to narrative. He lives this truth daily. By 1990, the empire sprawls. Towers, hotels, casinos, airlines, even a football team. The name Trump shines from Manhattan to the Jersey Shore. Tabloids crown him king. Society invites him in. He dates models, hosts parties, buys Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach. The world watches his every move. He stands at the top of Trump Tower one clear evening. City lights glitter below like scattered diamonds. The skyline he once admired from Queens now bears his mark. He has built more than buildings. He has built a legend. But legends cast long shadows. Debt piles behind the glamour. Interest payments loom. Banks circle closer. The higher the climb, the thinner the air. One wrong step changes everything, and that step is coming, faster than anyone imagines. The pressure mounts with every new project. Banks lend freely in the go-go 80s. Interest rates fall. Junk bonds fuel dreams. Donald Trump borrows boldly. Hundreds of millions flow into his hands. Each deal grows larger than the last. Leverage becomes his signature move. The Grand Hyatt proves he can handle complexity. But Trump Tower demands perfection. Construction crews work around the clock. Delays cost millions. Donald visits the site daily, hard hat on, tie flapping. He fires subcontractors on the spot, demands faster pours, better finishes. The sawtooth facade requires custom glass, imports from Germany. Every pane must align perfectly. Inside, Italian marble arrives by ship. Pink breccia pernice, veins of rose and gold. Workers lay it slab by slab down the atrium walls. The waterfall cascades over bronze rails. Gold leaf accents catch every light. Critics call it vulgar. Donald calls it unforgettable. He wants visitors to stop, to stare, to feel smaller beneath his creation. The Bonwit Teller demolition lingers in headlines. Destroyed sculptures fuel outrage. Fines hit 6 figures. Donald fights back in the press. Schedule over sentiment. Progress over preservation. The controversy burns bright, then fades. Trump Tower rises anyway. Taller, shinier. Impossible to ignore. Casinos add new intensity. Atlantic City runs on adrenaline. Regulators watch closely. Competitors strike hard. Trump Plaza opens first. Slot machines ring from day one. But profits demand volume. He buys more land, builds Trump Castle across the marina. Red neon towers glow against the sea. The Taj Mahal pushes limits further. $1 billion. The most expensive casino ever. Elephants and fireworks mark the launch. Inside, onion domes gleam, crystal chandeliers weigh tons. 10,000 slot machines hum non-stop. Debt services the dream. $400 million in high-yield bonds. Investors buy the Trump name, not just the numbers. Back in New York, Woolman Rink becomes personal. City Hall bungles the project for years. Concrete cracks. Pipes leak. Budgets explode. Donald writes an open letter. Offers to fix it himself. No profit. Just results. The mayor, wary but desperate, accepts. Crews descend on Central Park. Trump micromanages every inch. New refrigeration units, rubber pipes instead of steel, concrete mixed with precision. He appears on site in a suit, points, directs, deadlines tighten. Workers race the cold. Ice forms smooth and clear by Thanksgiving. Skaters flood the surface. Cameras capture Donald lacing up skates, smiling beside models and celebrities. The victory tastes sweet. Newspapers contrast timelines. City failure versus private triumph. Editorials praise efficiency. The public eats it up. Donald proves government moves slow. He moves fast. Results silence doubters. His reputation hardens further. The man who gets things done. Media becomes another battlefield. Tabloids chase his every move. Page 6 tracks dates and deals. He feeds them stories. Tips on rivals. Quotes that sting. In return, his face fills covers. New York Magazine crowns him the city's ultimate symbol. Flashy. Brash. Unapologetic. He buys more toys of the rich. A yacht. The Trump Princess. 300 feet of opulence. Helicopters ferry him above traffic. A Boeing 727 painted gold. Trump shuttle launches flights up and down the coast. Passengers board under his gaze. The name everywhere. Personal life mirrors the excess. Marriage to Ivana shines in gossip columns. Parties at Mar-a-Lago draw royalty and stars. Ski trips to Aspen. Galas at the Met. Photographers swarm. Donald poses center frame. Always smiling. Always winning. Yet cracks begin to show. Debt service climbs. Interest payments devour cash flow. Casinos compete fiercely. Atlantic City softens. Visitors choose Foxwoods or Vegas. Revenues dip. Banks grow nervous. Covenants tighten. The Art of the Deal crystallizes the philosophy, published in 1987. Donald dictates stories to Tony Schwartz, tales of leverage and bluff. He explains truthful hyperbole directly. I call it truthful hyperbole, he writes. It's an innocent form of exaggeration and a very effective form of promotion. The phrase captures the era, image over substance, perception as reality. Book tours pack auditoriums. Fans line blocks for signatures. The hardcover sells millions. Paperback follows. Business students study chapters. Aspiring moguls memorize lines. Donald becomes guru and celebrity in one. Television invites multiply. Oprah. Letterman. He charms audiences effortlessly. By 1989, the empire spans continents. Hotels in planning. Towers proposed worldwide. The name licenses to condos and steaks and ties. Everything touched turns to perceived gold. Forbes lists him among the richest. Estimates reach billions. He does not correct upward. But leverage cuts both ways. Markets shift. Recession whispers approach. Real estate softens. Casino traffic slows further. Bondholders watch closely. One weak quarter could trigger clauses. Donald pushes harder, buys more, refinances aggressively. He stands on the Taj Mahal balcony one opening night. Ocean wind whips his tie. Lights blaze below. Crowds cheer his name. The moment feels eternal. invincible. Yet numbers tell another story. Interest compounds silently. Obligations stack higher than any tower. Banks prepare contingency files. The machine he built runs hot, one spark away from fire. The turning point hides just ahead. A single year will test everything. The myth against cold reality. The king against the reckoning. And when it arrives, the fall will shake the skyline he worked decades to claim. The year 1990 begins with fireworks over the Taj Mahal. Crowds roar, slot machines sing. Donald Trump waves from the balcony. The casino opens in April. $1 billion poured into marble and gold. He calls it the eighth wonder. Investors cheer the spectacle. But beneath the lights, the balance sheet trembles. Interest payments devour profits from day one. $450 million in junk bonds demand 14%. Cash flow strains. Visitors come. But not enough. Competitors bite deeper. Trump Castle loses ground. Plaza struggles. The empire built on leverage now feels the weight. Banks watch closely. Covenants loom. One missed payment triggers collapse. Donald refinances aggressively. Borrows more to service old debt. The cycle spins faster. He sells the yacht. Trims the shuttle. But the hole deepens. Personal spending continues. Mar-a-Lago parties. Private jets. Image demands fuel. Marriage fractures in parallel. Ivana and Donald separate publicly. Tabloids feast. Headlines scream affair with Marla Maples. Ski slopes in Aspen become battlegrounds. Divorce papers fly in February 1990. The fight turns ugly. Prenups tested. Settlements negotiated in millions. The private king faces public humiliation. He fights back with bravado. Full-page ads defend his name. Television appearances project strength. But doubt creeps in. Reporters ask harder questions. Forbes revises his net worth downward, from billions to negative. The myth wobbles. The Taj files bankruptcy first. June 1991. Chapter 11. Bondholders take half ownership. Donald surrenders control. Trump Castle follows. Then Plaza. 3 casinos restructured in months. He keeps his name on the signs. Loses equity. The press calls it failure. He calls it smart restructuring. Trump Tower mortgage pressures mount. Banks demand payments. Personal guarantees haunt him. 90 banks circle total debt approaches $9 billion. He meets them in marathon sessions, restructures again, surrenders assets, keeps the brand alive. Barely. Internal conflict rages. The man who preached winning now negotiates survival. Friends advise caution. He resists, then yields. The killer instinct bends for the first time, not broken. Adapted, he learns a new game, how to rise from ashes. Marla Maples becomes steady. They marry in 1993. Tiffany arrives, a daughter. Softness amid chaos. But the spotlight shifts from conqueror to comeback story. He appears on Letterman, jokes about bankruptcy. The audience laughs with him. Resilience sells. Television notices. The Apprentice begins planning. Producers pitch a boardroom show. Donald as boss, firing contestants, ratings gold. He signs in 2003. Filming starts. The phrase, "you're fired," enters culture. Overnight, a new generation discovers Trump, not the developer, the personality. The comeback accelerates. Licensing explodes. Ties, stakes, water. Hotels bear his name without his debt. Golf courses multiply. Scotland, Ireland, Dubai. He builds less, brands more. Risk shifts to partners. Profits flow cleaner. Politics whispers early. Reform Party flirtation in 2000. Oprah interview plants seeds. He criticizes trade. Infrastructure. Leaders. Crowds respond. The voice sharpens. The message hardens. By the mid-2000s, the phoenix rises fully. Forbes lists billions again. Books return. The art of the comeback sells. He stands taller, scars hidden beneath fresh gold. The 90s taught brutal lessons. Leverage kills. Image endures. Reinvention saves. He gazes from Trump Tower once more, the view unchanged. But the man transformed. From builder to survivor, from mogul to entertainer. The empire smaller in bricks, larger in myth. Yet the hunger remains. Bigger stages call. Not just skylines, nations, power beyond property. The boy from Queens learned to fall. Now he knows how to climb higher than before. And the next climb will shake the world, not with towers, with words, with crowds, with a campaign no one sees coming. The transformation is complete, the direction set. All that remains is the leap. He was on top of the world in 1990. Towers bearing his name scraped the sky. Casinos lit the Atlantic City night. Yachts cut through ocean waves. The art of the deal sat on nightstands across America. Donald Trump had become the living symbol of the 80s dream. Bigger, bolder, brighter. Then the 90s struck. Recession gripped the nation. Real estate values plunged. Tourists stayed home. Junk bonds turned toxic. The Taj Mahal, barely open, bled cash. Bondholders seized control. Trump Castle and Plaza followed into restructuring. The empire that rose on leverage now cracked under its weight. Banks closed in. 90 lenders held personal guarantees, $9 billion in debt. Meetings stretched through nights, lawyers filled rooms. Donald negotiated like a man fighting for air. He surrendered assets, kept the name, kept the story alive. The press feasted on every filing. Headlines screamed bankruptcy. He pushed back hard. "I don't like the B word," he told reporters. "This is restructuring. Smart people do it." In the quiet moments, doubt crept in. The man who wrote about winning stared at balance sheets painted red. Friends urged caution. He listened, then adapted. The killer instinct bent toward survival. He sold the yacht, grounded the shuttle, trimmed the excess. Painful cuts, necessary ones. Personal life mirrored the chaos. Divorce from Ivana dominated tabloids. Aspen vacations turned into courtroom battles. Settlements reached $25 million. Marla Maples waited in the wings. They married in 1993. A daughter, Tiffany, arrived soon after. Amid the wreckage, new beginnings. The comeback started small. Licensing deals. No debt, pure profit. His name went on ties, water, steaks. Hotels rose worldwide without his capital at risk. Golf courses followed. Turnberry in Scotland, Doral in Miami. Partners paid. He collected. Television called next. Producers pitched a reality show. A boardroom. Tough decisions. Catchy firings. The Apprentice premiered in 2004. Ratings soared. "You're fired" became a national punchline. A new audience discovered Trump. Not the developer from the 80s. The decisive boss. The entertainer. Overnight, relevance returned. Books followed the revival. The Art of the Comeback hit shelves. Stories of resilience sold briskly. Forbes restored billions to his name. The Phoenix narrative took hold. He had fallen farther than most, climbed back faster than any. Politics stirred earlier than most remember. In 2000, he flirted with the Reform Party, tested crowds, spoke of trade deals bleeding America dry, infrastructure crumbling, leaders failing. Audiences leaned in, the voice carried, the message sharpened. By the late 2000s, the transformation felt complete. Scars remained, but gold covered them. He stood again in the Trump Tower penthouse. City lights twinkled below. The skyline still bore his mark. Yet the hunger had shifted. Buildings no longer satisfied. Bigger arenas beckoned. He learned hard lessons in the fire. Leverage can kill. Image endures. Reinvention saves. The boy from Queens who once dreamed of Manhattan had conquered it, survived its worst. Now he eyed a different prize. Not a tower, not a casino, a nation. The empire rebuilt, smaller in brick, vast in myth, the brand stronger than ever, the man tougher, wiser, ready. He was on top of the world again. But this time, the world itself seemed within reach. And as we'll see in the next chapter, when Donald Trump decided to reach for the highest office in the land, the rules of politics would never be the same. The scandals, the crowds, the victory no one predicted. Stay with us. The story is just heating up.